From 1957 to 1963, Leave It to Beaver captured the hearts of audiences across the nation with its wholesome humor and timeless family values. Join us as we uncover the stories of the cast members then and now and pay tribute to those who have left us. So, grab a snack, settle in, and let's journey back in time to Mayfield, where life was simple and mischief was always just around the corner. Stay tuned to find out who has passed away after 67 years. Let's get started. Tony Dow as Wally Cleaver. Wally epitomizes the quintessential American teenager. He embodies intelligence, courtesy, and trustworthiness, earning the respect of his parents, the admiration of his peers, and the fondness of his teachers. A versatile athlete, he excels in track, basketball, and baseball alike. Following his role in Leave It to Beaver, Dow made appearances on various television series, including My Three Sons, Dr. Kildare, The Greatest Show on Earth, Never Too Young, and featured in 5 episodes of Mr. Novak, portraying 3 different characters. He also made guest appearances on Adam 12, Love, American Style, Knight Rider, Square Pegs, The Mod Squad, The Hardy Boys, and Emergency. In June 1969, Dow entered matrimony with Carol Marlowe, which concluded in 1980. They welcomed a child in 1973. Subsequently, Dow exchanged vows with Lauren Schulkind in June 1980. In the 1990s, Dow revealed his battle with clinical depression, documenting his journey in self-help videos like Beating the Blues in 1998. In 2021, Dow was hospitalized with pneumonia, and in May 2022, he received a diagnosis of liver cancer. He passed away on July 27, 2022, amidst widespread misinformation about his demise. Hugh Beaumont as Ward Cleaver. Before becoming renowned for his portrayal of Ward Cleaver, Beaumont occasionally took on antagonist roles in both cinema and television. He directed numerous episodes of Leave It to Beaver during its final seasons, including the concluding installment, the reflective Family Scrapbook. Beaumont initiated his show business journey in 1931, captivating audiences through performances in theaters, nightclubs, and radio. His cinematic career commenced in 1940, featuring in over 30 films. Many of these roles were minor or uncredited, yet he left an indelible mark. Collaborating frequently with actor William Bendix, they shared the screen notably in the 1946 film Noir the Blue Dahlia, portraying companions to Alan Ladd's protagonist. From 1946 to 1947, Beaumont assumed the role of private detective Michael Shane in 5 films, succeeding Lloyd Nolan. On April 13, 1941, Beaumont exchanged vows with actress Katherine Adams at the Hollywood Congregational Church. They welcomed sons Hunter and Mark, along with daughter Christy. Their marriage spanned 33 years until their separation in 1974. Beaumont was also a devoted lay minister within the Methodist Church. During World War II, he served as a medic due to his conscientious objector status. Tragically, on May 14, 1982, Beaumont passed away from a heart attack while visiting his son Hunter, a psychologist, in Munich, West Germany. He departed at the age of 72. Robert Rusty Stevens as Larry Mondello. Larry is Theodore Beaver Cleaver's rotund, not particularly bright classmate and closest companion, known for his penchant for apples and candy bars. Larry often leads Beaver astray, leading to various misadventures and mishaps. While it was initially reported that his departure from the show in 1960 was due to his family relocating from Burbank, California to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Barbara Billingsley, who portrayed June Cleaver, contradicted this in a TV archive interview, asserting that Stevens was dismissed because of the interference caused by his domineering stage mother. Stevens briefly returned to the entertainment industry when he revisited his role as Larry Mondello in the 1983 television reunion movie Still the Beaver. Jerry Mathers, who played Beaver Cleaver, eventually located Stevens after an extensive search, enabling him to join the cast for the reunion. During this period, Stevens was employed as an auto insurance agent in New Jersey. Barbara Billingsley as June Cleaver. Billingsley has remarked that June Cleaver's attire served a practical purpose beyond fashion. The pearl necklace she wore concealed a depression in her neck caused by a surgical scar, effectively masking any shadows, while her preference for high-heeled shoes helped maintain parity with her son's increasing height. After completing 1 year at Los Angeles Junior College, Billingsley ventured to Broadway, where her involvement in the revue Straw Hat garnered significant attention, leading to its relocation to New York City. Following the revue's brief 5-day run, she settled in a residence on 57th Street and embarked on a career as a fashion model, earning a weekly wage of $60. In 1941, she exchanged vows with Glenn Billingsley Sr. Subsequently, she secured a contract with MGM Studios in 1945, prompting her relocation to Los Angeles with her husband the following year. In tandem with her career, Glenn Billingsley Sr. established a steakhouse in the city. Billingsley entered matrimony 3 times and was a mother to 2 offspring. Her first marriage, to Glenn Billingsley Sr. in 1941, united her with a restaurateur who was also the nephew of Sherman Billingsley, proprietor of the renowned Stork Club. Their business ventures included Billingsley's Golden Bull, Billingsley's Bocage, and the Outrigger Polynesian Eateries in Los Angeles, as well as a Stork Club in Key West, Florida, where they briefly resided following their nuptials. The couple welcomed 2 sons before divorcing in 1947. Billingsley passed away from polymyalgia rheumatica at her residence in Santa Monica, California, on October 16, 2010, at the age of 94. Ken Osmond as Eddie Haskell. Eddie was renowned for his impeccable appearance, which masked his deceitful and sly nature. Typically, he would greet the parents of his friends with exaggerated politeness, often accompanied by a compliment like, "You look stunning in that dress, Mrs. Cleaver." However, in the absence of parents, Eddie was always engaging in mischief, either scheming with his friends or teasing Wally's younger sibling, Beaver, whom he frequently mocked as Tiny. Osmond commenced his career in motion pictures as an extra. He recalled his first appearance being in the film Plymouth Adventure alongside Spencer Tracy and Gene Tierney. His inaugural speaking role came at the age of 9, in a minor part in the film So Big, featuring Jane Wyman and Sterling Hayden. In 1969, Osmond tied the knot with Sandra Purdy. They had 2 sons, Eric E. Osmond and Christian S. Osmond. After retiring from the police force, Osmond managed rental properties in Los Angeles County and occasionally made personal appearances at film festivals, collectors' shows, and nostalgia conventions. Osmond passed away at his residence in Los Angeles on May 18, 2020, at the age of 76, due to complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and peripheral artery disease. Stephen Talbot as Gilbert Bates. Gilbert Bates is one of Beaver's closest companions. He relocated frequently until the 3rd grade, which led him to fabricate stories in an attempt to impress his peers. However, his friends eventually discovered the truth, leading to empathy rather than judgment, and Gilbert became an integral part of their circle. Talbot made guest appearances on numerous television shows during the late 1950s and early 1960s, including 3 episodes of Lassie. He also had roles in 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone, Static, and The Fugitive. In 1960, he portrayed Jimmy Kendall, the son of the main character in CBS's Perry Mason, in the episode titled The Case of the Wandering Widow. Stephen Talbot resides in San Francisco with his spouse, Pippa Gordon, who works as a medical social worker. They named their son Dashiell, now practicing as an attorney, after the renowned San Francisco mystery writer Dashiell Hammett. Their daughter, Caitlin, earned an MFA from the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco. In 2015, Talbot penned a narrative titled Call the Midwife, reflecting on the experience of his daughter's home birth. Jerry Weil as Judy Hensler. As a fellow student alongside the protagonist of the series, Beaver Cleaver, Sally Hensler made her debut appearance in the inaugural episode, Beaver Gets Spelled, as a member of Miss Canfield's second-grade class. She epitomized the quintessential teacher's pet, often reporting misdeeds of her classmates, particularly Beaver. In one instance, she mistakenly believed Beaver was favored by Miss Canfield and encouraged him to prove otherwise by placing a spring-loaded snake in the teacher's desk drawer. The character of Sally Hensler was portrayed as a peer and adversary of Theodore Cleaver. Alongside the show's pilot episode, Weil featured in 31 out of the 234 Leave It to Beaver installments. In 1956, Weil had an uncredited role as Linda Hutchins in the Western film The Fastest Gun Alive, starring Glenn Ford. In 1983, following a resurgence of interest in the Leave It to Beaver series through television and film adaptations, Weil made an appearance on the match game Hollywood Squares Hour as a contestant and celebrity guest. She revisited her role as Sally Hensler, Benton, in a singular guest appearance on a 1987 episode of the revived series The New Leave It to Beaver. In October 1960, Weil retired from acting after her character was written out of Leave It to Beaver. Subsequently, she transitioned into a career as a writer and real estate agent in Studio City, Los Angeles. Stanley Fafara as Whitey Whitney. Whitey Whitney is one of Beaver's school pals, remaining a constant presence throughout the entire series. Portrayed by Stanley Fafara in the show, the character was later depicted by Ed Begley Jr. in the reunion film Still the Beaver. Following the conclusion of the series in 1963, he enrolled at North Hollywood High School. He forged a bond with the pop-rock group Paul Revere and the Raiders and reportedly resided with the band for a period. Subsequently, he grappled with alcoholism and substance abuse, eventually struggling with heroin addiction and undergoing multiple stints in rehabilitation facilities. However, he achieved sobriety in 1995. For the last 8 years of his life, Fafara maintained his sobriety, initially residing in a facility for recovering individuals before relocating to a subsidized apartment in downtown Portland, Oregon. He relied on monthly Social Security payments of $475 until his hospitalization in 2003. Complications from hernia surgery, a consequence of his heroin addiction, led to his demise on September 20th, 2003, coinciding with his 54th birthday in Portland, Oregon. Fafara was laid to rest at Redland Pioneer Cemetery in Redland, Oregon. Frank Bank as Clarence Rutherford. Lumpy is introduced to the viewer in the first season episode Lumpy Rutherford. He's the 16-year-old son of Fred. The Rutherfords reside somewhere in the Cleaver neighborhood, which gives Lumpy the chance to bully the Cleaver boys on their way home from school. Subsequently, he was selected for the role of Clarence Rutherford in 101 episodes of the follow-up series, The New Leave It to Beaver, which aired on cable television from 1985 to 1989. Starting in 1973, Bank pursued a career as a bond broker in his hometown of Los Angeles. His memoir, Call Me Lumpy, My Leave It to Beaver Days and Other Wild Hollywood Life, hit the shelves in 1997. Bank passed away from cancer on April 13, 2013, in Rancho Mirage, California, just one day after his 71st birthday. He is survived by his third spouse, Rebecca, 4 daughters and 5 grandchildren. His final resting place is at Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery in Culver City, California. Richard Carell as Richard Rickover. Richard is first introduced in Season 3 and appears more as the show progresses. While he's not as close to Beaver as Larry or Gilbert, he still has a strong tendency to get himself and Beaver into trouble. He also appeared in multiple episodes of The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, Lassie, and National Velvet. As a teenager, Carell became a close friend of legendary silent film comedian Harold Lloyd and his family, and volunteered to assist Lloyd in preserving and archiving his extensive films. In 2010, Carell filed a lawsuit against Disney for unjust termination and alleged failure to pay creative royalties for Hannah Montana. Carell possesses an extensive collection of science fiction, fantasy, and horror film artifacts, which are displayed at his Icons of Darkness exhibit in Hollywood. On March 25, 2024, Carell and his wife Beth issued an apology for being among the celebrities who released letters supporting acting coach Brian Peck during Peck's trial in the child sexual abuse case involving actor Drake Bell, who was identified at the time. Carell's letter included a statement expressing his willingness to work with Peck again before learning the nature of the charges. The statement reveals their lack of awareness of the truth at the time. Sue Randall as Miss Alice Landers. Miss Landers is Beaver's teacher in seasons 2-4. She is a kind and nurturing educator. Beaver develops a crush on her. She ties the knot in season 4. Randall's first credited appearance on television was in the 1955 episode Golden Victory of the series Star Tonight. She was one of the actresses who portrayed Diane Emerson in the television adaptation of Valiant Lady, 1953-1957, Woman with a Past. Randall also featured in 5 episodes of the syndicated Western anthology Death Valley Days. Her final appearance in that series was in 1966, portraying Carrie Huntington in the episode The Courtship of Carrie Huntington. Randall was wedded to Peter Blake Powell, with whom she had 2 children. Later on, she married James J. McSparran, and they remained married until her passing. Randall retired from acting in 1967 following her performance in the episode Heaven Help Us on the televised anthology series Vacation Playhouse. 2 years later, she relocated from California to Philadelphia, where she soon began working in administrative capacities with various charitable organizations. She actively participated in telethons and other local events to raise funds for programs and research aimed at combating arthritis, multiple sclerosis, and blindness, as well as providing underprivileged children with better educational opportunities. Randall passed away from lung and larynx cancer at Pennsylvania Hospital in Philadelphia on October 26, 1984, at the age of 49. Richard Deacon as Fred Rutherford. Fred leads the household of Rancho Rutherford and is wedded to Geraldine Gwendolyn. He is balding and boastful, the father of a son named Clarence, portrayed by Frank Bank, and a daughter named Violet, played by Wendy Winkleman, and later by Veronica Cartwright. In public, Fred regards Clarence as an exemplary son, proudly speaking of him and defending him whenever he is accused of mischievous behavior. Deacon often embodies arrogant, fussy, and/or authoritative characters in both film and television. He appeared on the Jack Benny program as a salesman and a barber, and on NBC's Happy as a hotel manager. He had a brief role in Alfred Hitchcock's film The Birds, 1963. His part was more substantial in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956, as a doctor in the bookend scenes added to the beginning and end of the film after its initial previews. According to scholars David L. Smith and Sean Griffin, Deacon was homosexual and was among a number of actors and actresses who were closeted homosexuals working in Hollywood, often cast in Disney productions. Deacon passed away from cardiovascular illness on August 8, 1984, at the age of 62. His body was cremated, and the ashes were scattered at sea. Jerry Mathers as the Beaver. The casting directors observed that Mathers seemed uncomfortable during the auditions and inquired about his preferences. Mathers responded that he would prefer to be at his Cub Scout den meeting, which he was scheduled to attend after the audition. This youthful innocence secured Mathers the role of Beaver. Mathers initiated his career at the age of 2 when he appeared as a child model for a department store advertisement. Shortly after, he starred in a commercial for Pet Milk alongside vaudeville comedian Ed Wynn. His early film credits included This Is My Love, 1954, Men of the Fighting Lady, 1954, The Seven Little Foys, 1955, and Alfred Hitchcock's dark comedy The Trouble with Harry, 1955, where he portrayed Arnie, the son of Shirley MacLaine's character, who discovers Harry's body in the nearby forest. Mathers has been married 3 times. He met his first spouse, Diana Platt, while in college. They wed in 1974 and later divorced. Mathers encountered his second wife, Rhonda Gehring, while touring in the production of So Long, Stanley. They share 3 children, Noah, Mercedes, and Gretchen. Mathers and Gehring ended their marriage in 1997. Mathers exchanged vows with his third wife, Teresa Modnick, on January 30, 2011. Mathers received a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes in 1996. Following his physician's advice, Mathers enrolled in a weight loss program with Jenny Craig in May 1997, shedding over 40 pounds, 18 kilograms, and subsequently became the company's first male participant. And now we reach the conclusion of our exploration into the lives of the cherished cast members of Leave It to Beaver. As we've witnessed, the performers who portrayed these iconic roles have made a lasting impact on the history of television. Come along as we reflect on the joy, the wisdom, and the enduring memories that Leave It to Beaver has bestowed upon us for more than 60 years. Thanks for watching and goodbye.